Annie and her male secretary had a fight again. This time, she's dead set on breaking up. At 1 a.m., she clung to me, looking distraught, her eyes red. Jason may be young, handsome, and fun, but he's so immature he doesn't love me at all. I don't want him anymore. Honey, I finally understand that all these years, you're the one who's truly loved and tolerated me. Let's get a pet. With a pet around, my heart will be at home, and Jason wouldn't be able to sway me a bit. I was silent for a moment, then took out the divorce papers I had prepared. Let's just divorce. I don't want you either. Divorce? She looked like she'd just heard a ridiculous joke. Her expression switched from shock to anger rapidly. Justin, is this the umpteenth time this year you've threatened divorce? You never follow through. What's the point? Are you going to negate 8 years together just because I made a mistake all women make? I didn't even touch Jason's hand. It's not even cheating. Can you please stop being unreasonable? I lowered my head, managing a tired laugh. Annie, you've broken up and gotten back with Jason dozens of times this year. You've said the same thing so many times. I can't tell what's real or not anymore, and I don't want to. Maybe I'm unreasonable, but I'm tired. In any case, I'm always her backup plan, the fallback. If there's no love, just let me go. Why must I always be the clown waiting for her to turn around? She froze for a bit, then suddenly grabbed the papers and tore them up, tossing the pieces into the trash. Then, she hugged me, resting her chin on top of my head with a soft voice. Justin, I've really cut things off with Jason this time. It's late, let's just sleep. She paused, then added like it was a favor. Tomorrow, I'll take you to pick out a new house. You'll feel better. There's a sad understanding between us. Each time she wants to return after a spat with Jason, I give her an out. Over the year, she's taken me to buy 28 houses. But she seems to forget. I'm the chairman of the company. I don't need her to buy me houses. I turned away from her, lying down calmly. I'll prepare the divorce papers again tomorrow. She smiled knowingly, probably thinking I'd forgiven her again. The next second, she snuggled up against me, her warm breath brushing my ear. We agreed to get a pet. Remember? Just as I was about to pull away, her phone suddenly rang. She scrambled out, not bothering with slippers as she rushed out the door. Down the hall, I could hear her hushing her voice. Don't overthink it. I swear I haven't touched him. The person on the line wasn't convinced, making her pace anxiously. I just turned over quietly, blinking my dry eyes. The door opened abruptly. She burst in, waving her phone around, aiming the camera at me. See, he's sound asleep. Why would I lie? Humiliated, I hurriedly grabbed the quilt to cover my head. But she yanked it away, the phone's harsh light slapping my face like a note of accusation. I instinctively closed my eyes but still saw Jason's smug grin on the screen. Annie, I truly don't mind, after all, Justin's your husband. I struck the phone away. I want to sleep. Annie stood frozen. You're awake? I thought. Jason whined through the phone. Annie, why did the screen go black? Before he could finish, Annie rushed out. There's an issue at work. I need to go. The door slammed shut, and in the darkness, my heart ached briefly. 3 years of dating, 5 years of marriage, and I don't understand how it ended up like this. All those sleepless nights and social events starting our business. The better the company got, the colder she became towards me. We ran out of things to talk about. No surprises on birthdays, Valentines, or anniversaries. I kept telling myself that we're an old married couple. Who needs romance? Until Jason came along. This new secretary was sharp, articulate in meetings, played a mean game of golf, and charmed even the toughest clients. Annie's gaze on him had a heat I hadn't seen in a long time. He seemed perfect, except he was too proud, refusing to be her kept man. But the more she couldn't have him, the more obsessed she got. This fight was simply because Jason carpooled with a female colleague. Struggling to sleep, my phone suddenly lit up. Of course, it was a message from Jason. In the pic, Annie wore silky pajamas, savoring wine by the floor-length windows. Justin, Annie's home. Relax. I genuinely felt relaxed, even a bit amused. I remember when I first noticed their flirtation, I'd confronted Jason. He'd looked annoyed and said, "Justin, I keep turning her down, and it's bothersome. Can you control your wife?" The next day, Annie fired at me. "Jason's helped me so much with work. I just gave gifts to show appreciation. Did you want to ruin his career with your scene at the office? See? They're all so innocent, and I'm the unreasonable one." Later, Jason seemed intent on proving something and started reporting everything in detail. On his birthday, Annie had a Michelin chef make a cake on site and gave the day off to the entire company just to celebrate him. On Valentine's Day, 1,000 drones traced his face in the sky, ending with a pink meteor shower. Even for his work anniversary, she got him a diamond-encrusted name badge, pinning it on during the morning meeting. These grand gestures didn't need him to spell it out. The whole company saw it. Despite my delay in responding, he had the nerve to send a video invite. In the past, I would have hung up in panic, but now I didn't care. The moment I accepted, he showed a hint of surprise before faking a grin and angling the camera at Annie on the couch. She had her eyes shut, seeming half asleep and half awake. Annie was exhausted, so she rested on the couch. He lowered his voice, deliberately explaining to the camera, "I sleep in the bedroom, don't worry. I'm not that kind of guy." Before he could finish, Annie suddenly pulled him into her embrace. "Jason, please say yes. If you nod, I'll divorce Justin immediately. I'm so over him. Every day coming home to his lifeless face makes life seem hopeless. He revolves around me all day, at work, at home. No hobbies, no social life, just follows me around like a shadow. It's suffocating." My mind went blank, and a sharp pain spread through my chest. To think, in her eyes, 8 years of companionship had become a suffocating shackle. Maybe to make sure I heard clearly, Jason suddenly raised his voice. "Annie, I told you I won't be the other man. You're still married. What's the point of saying this to me now?" Annie was silent for a few seconds, then spoke with a touch of grievance. "Do you think I'm old? I'm only 5 years older than you. There's no generation gap between us." Jason pushed her away firmly. "Stop changing the subject. The truth is, you can't let go of your marriage, right?" The next second, Annie's face turned cold, and she turned away in frustration. "I'm tired. I'm going to sleep." She clicked her tongue in annoyance but still got up to kiss him. "Just wait a bit longer. Once the company goes public, I'll get back Justin's shares and divorce him." The video abruptly cut out there. A sudden wave of sadness hit me, and tears I thought had dried up started flowing again. This company was founded with the compensation money from my parents' car accident. When we first planned the divorce agreement, I naively divided the shares equally with her. I didn't imagine she'd want to take even the last half I had. Since she isn't interested in a peaceful separation, I don't need to hold back either. With trembling hands, I called the lawyer, my voice unusually calm. "Redo the agreement. The company is my pre-marriage property. I'm not giving away any shares." In the morning, I picked up the newly drafted divorce agreement from the lawyer's office and was ready to get her to sign. My phone suddenly rang. It was her close friend calling. "Annie is drunk out of her mind at the New Blue. You should go pick her up." I replied calmly, "Call Jason." "We did, but he told us to contact you." The person on the other end hesitated. "Did you two have a fight?" She dragged us out in the middle of the night and just drank silently, mixing liquor and spirits. "This can't go on." When I stayed silent, he added seriously, "After all these years, you both must be tired of each other by now. Jason is just her fling for excitement. Once that fades, she'll come around. If you're that upset, find someone else too. Wouldn't that even things out?" he suggested. I let out a sarcastic laugh. "Send me the room number. I'm just there to have her sign a document." Relieved, he said, "Great. I knew you were sensible." Opening the door, a heavy smell of alcohol hit me. Annie was still in her silk pajamas, the neckline loose, lying on the couch with a vacant stare. Her friends, seeing me arrive, stood up eagerly. "She's all yours now. We need to go catch up on sleep." Annie waved at me with a familiar smile despite her dazed eyes. I approached her with a blank expression, and she suddenly pulled me into her arms, resting her hot face against my shoulder. I felt her shoulders trembling, soon followed by warm tears soaking into my shirt. She rasped, "Jason, you're so cruel, throwing me out in the cold without even a coat. I just kissed your eyes because it hurt me to see you cry. I promised not to touch you before marriage, but it's been a year. Who dates like that?" Frozen in place, I let her hold me for ages before softly asking, "Do you love him that much?" Drunkenly, Annie lifted her head and, realizing I wasn't who she expected, shoved me away. "Who are you? Don't touch me. You're not Jason. Go away. I want Jason." Her shove sent me stumbling back, crashing into a coffee table. The bottles smashed to the ground, scattering glass shards into my palm, but I felt no pain. Slowly pulling out the glass pieces, I shook off the blood and handed her the divorce papers. "Sign this. Once you do, you can be with Jason." Her eyes fell on my bleeding hand, and she anxiously grabbed it, gently blowing on it. "How did you get hurt? Does it hurt?" I coldly withdrew my hand, thrusting a pen into hers. "Sign." But Annie suddenly threw the papers away, clinging to my waist like a stubborn child. "I'm not signing. I told you I won't divorce. Haven't you already agreed to have a baby with me?" The papers soaked in the spilled alcohol, gradually absorbing the ink. This marked the second refusal. The first time, she said I was being unreasonable. Now, she's using the drunken act. Feeling tears well up and beginning to spill, I tilted my head to hold them back, before raising my hand and slapping her. "Annie, what do you want?" I'm stepping aside. "I'm making it easier for you. It's just a signature. How hard is that?" Yet she suddenly clamped onto my wrist, smiling softly despite her drowsiness. "Don't be mad. Your hand is hurt. Slapping me will hurt you more." Those words pierced my heart like a blunt knife. A year ago, her sweet words got me to forgive after being hurt so badly. A year later, I find myself in the same situation. She knows me so well. A slap followed by a sweet promise, and I'd reckless run back to her. But not this time. I lifted my other hand and struck down with full force. "Justin, Annie's just drunk. How can you hit her?" Jason's sharp voice came from the doorway. Annie's eyes immediately lit up, stumbling towards him. "Jason, I knew you'd miss me." Jason quickly supported her and turned to scold me. "Justin, we have the company's IPO roadshow luncheon today. You know how important this event is, right? Why start a fight with your wife? After that slap, how will you face the investors later? If someone asks, should I say Annie's own husband hit her?" I almost laughed at his audacity. "Jason, what position do you think you hold, speaking to the company chairman like that? Even if Annie doesn't go to this party today, so what? Are you just a simple secretary, overstepping your boundaries?" Jason's face went pale immediately, his eyes reddening. "Fine, I'll stay out of it then. But when the investors get upset, I'd still be the one suffering as their drinking buddy." I let out a cold laugh. When have you ever really protected anyone from drinks? Why not take this chance today to cover drinks for both Annie and me? Every time there's a social event, you hide and shove me, the chairman, to the forefront. I drink until I'm sick, and you're busy coddling Annie, who hardly drinks at all, rubbing her back and making her soup. Jason's expression stiffened. "Justin, you're just using this as an excuse to get back at me. Can't control your wife, so you take it out on me." He acted like he was going to push Annie aside. "I quit. I'm resigning." That sobered Annie up real quick. She grabbed him tightly and glared at me. "Justin, Jason is thinking about the company. Can't you ease up on him?" Then she turned to him softly. "Jason, you're my right-hand man. This company can't do without you. We promised we'd work together until retirement. No quitting allowed." With that, she clung to Jason, and they walked out without looking back. In the car, Jason naturally slid into the back seat with Annie. "Justin, I need to confirm some things about the event with Annie. Mind if I sit back while you take the front seat?" Already settled in the passenger seat, I ignored him. Annie waved it off. "Just ignore him. Let's talk business." I closed my eyes for a moment and turned on the car radio, hoping to calm myself down, only to find my playlist was gone, replaced with a conspicuous title, "Jason's Favorite Songs." I took a deep breath. The driver awkwardly explained, "Justin, this wasn't me." "I know," I replied calmly. "This car is dirty. Get rid of it tomorrow." Annie suddenly looked up, her eyes sharp. "Justin, what do you mean by that?" Jason immediately grabbed her sleeve, his eyes red. "Annie, don't be mad. Justin is just saying I'm dirty. Right now what's crucial is the event. I'm just a secretary, no dignity here, so I don't mind a little suffering." Annie shot me a fierce look. "Justin, I'll deal with you later tonight." "Deal with me? Does she think I'll give her the chance?" I pulled out my phone and messaged the lawyer. "Prepare to file for divorce. I'll send the evidence over shortly." Annie seemed to think I was backing down, and a smirk played on her lips. "With that bad temper of yours, who else could put up with you besides me?" At the company, Jason was busy pampering Annie, helping her fix her clothes. He even put jewelry on her, styled her hair, and pretended to ice down her perfectly fine cheek. Doing a husband's duties for a secretary's pay? Aren't I the unlucky one? Annie quickly reassured him, "Jason, I'll double your salary tomorrow." I chimed in with a smile, "Why not just make him your husband?" Annie lowered her voice and snapped, "Justin, that's enough. You're so much older than Jason. Act your age." I raised an eyebrow. "Didn't you say it's only a 5-year difference?" "When did I?" Annie froze mid-sentence. "You heard what happened last night? What else did you hear?" At that moment, some investors walked in. "Justin, Annie, long time no see. How have you been?" At the party, as usual, Jason shoved me to the front to socialize. I just picked up my wine glass when he rudely shoved me from behind. The whole glass of red wine spilled on my face, the alcohol stinging my eyes, forcing them shut. Laughter rippled around me. Embarrassed, I wanted to leave, but Jason grabbed me. He roughly wiped my face with a napkin. "Justin, you should sip wine slowly. Chugging only makes you a laughingstock." He was scrubbing so hard it felt like he was trying to peel a layer of skin off. I raised a hand to push him away. Annie dashed over, shielding him, and slapped me hard. A crisp slap echoed, silencing the entire hall. Annie shouted, "Justin, can't even hold a glass and you want to do what? You're humiliating yourself. Jason was just trying to help and you couldn't even appreciate it, and you were about to hit him? Get out of here." I held my stinging face, the alcohol burning my eyes. "Annie, he clearly pushed me. I can't even defend myself?" Her expression turned even darker. "Pushing me away? Jason push you? Ask anyone here who saw that." "Justin, stop blaming others for your mistakes. It only makes you look more pathetic." I steadied myself after stumbling a few steps, then burst into laughter. Why did I even try explaining to her, expecting fairness? Start to finish, didn't she always stand by Jason? What was I even hoping for? 8 years of a relationship have become bland. How can it compete with the allure of fresh temptation? Suddenly, everything felt absurd. I bowed my head and said in a low voice, "I can't even respect myself like this. We should have divorced long ago." She didn't care, lowering her voice to advise, "Glad you realize. Don't keep harping about the divorce. If others hear, they might really believe we're splitting. Clean yourself up, then return. I'll hold things down here." With glances exchanged around, I quickly made my way to the exit. Annie's voice echoed apologetically, "Sorry about that, everyone. My husband's temper spoiled the mood. I'll drink 3 as an apology." Jason piped up in a sweet voice, "Annie, it's all my fault getting Justin mad. I'll have 3 too." I stopped dead in my tracks, feeling as if stabbed from behind. My nails dug into my palms, causing the scabbed over wound to bleed anew. I fought to control my anger, mindful of the investors. I couldn't cause a scene, but this humiliation, I wouldn't swallow silently. After I cleaned the wine stains off my clothes, I called my assistant over. "Prepare a notice to replace the general manager immediately." Reason: Annie's serious misconduct in her personal life. The new general manager will be selected from the vice presidents. Announce it to everyone tomorrow morning. My assistant looked concerned. "Does Annie know about this?" Looking up at him, I said, "She'll find out tomorrow." Seeing that I wasn't joking, my assistant took a sharp breath and hurried out to handle it. In the past, I put Annie first in the company. Employees got used to consulting her for everything. Over time, the chairman, ended up becoming her sidekick. But now I'm taking back what's mine. After handling company matters, I compiled all the photos and video evidence Jason sent me over the past year and sent it to my lawyer. The lawyer looked hesitant after reviewing them. "Justin, these are solid grounds for a divorce. I just don't get why you waited till now when you had this all along." I paused, then smiled bitterly. Maybe because, even after the betrayal, I wanted to end these 8 years with some dignity. Despite her repeated hurt, I never thought of kicking her out of the company. I even planned to give her half of the shares during the asset division since we built the company together. But what about her? She plotted to leave me with nothing. Turns out women can be quite ruthless. "I'll leave the divorce to you," I told the lawyer, finally letting go of my last bit of attachment. Back home, I booked the earliest flight to New Island. Once the company notice and divorce announcement go out, Annie will definitely come looking for trouble. Better to avoid it early. While packing, I noticed that in our large walk-in closet, my clothes occupied just a small corner. The rest was all Annie's. I always thought we both preferred a simple life, but apparently, it was just me. The luxury items all came after Jason showed up. I only took necessary documents, threw the rest, including my wedding ring, into the trash. As I dragged my suitcase to the door, Annie returned holding hands with Jason. She quickly let go when she saw me, showing some guilt. "I'm sorry for hitting you at the party. I was just thinking of you. With so many investors and employees watching, prolonging it would have just embarrassed you." I walked past her without a word. Noticing my suitcase, Annie grew tense and grabbed my wrist. "Where are you going with that luggage?" I shook off her hand calmly, "Just getting some fresh air." Annie watched me, seemingly unwilling to let go. Jealousy flashed in Jason's eyes, and he grinned. "Annie, after what happened today, Justin must be embarrassed to go back to the company. Let him take a break." Annie finally released her grip and softly said, "I'll take you to the airport. I can't leave the company, but call me when you get there. I'll worry otherwise." I didn't respond, instead turned to Jason and slapped him across the face. "Sorry, I won't put off settling the score for you pushing me today. It feels better handling it now." "But Justin," Jason held his cheek in feigned shock. "If Annie and I didn't smooth things over, who'd have handled your mess?" "Enough," I cut him off. His pretentious act was almost laughable. "You really went out of your way as a secretary. Need some vacation time?" He looked momentarily stunned, then sneered. "Fire me? Annie calls the shots here. You think you can?" I chuckled. "Oh, really? Jason." Annie scolded firmly. "Justin is still the chairman. Watch your attitude." Jason's face fell, tears welling up in his eyes. "Fine, Annie. I'm just your scapegoat, right? I'm out of here." He teared up, ran to hail a cab, tripped, and sat crumpled on the ground. Annie panicked and rushed to help him up. "Nonsense, no one will touch you here." As she passed me, looking troubled, she said, "Justin, you go to the airport on your own. Jason needs me now." As I raised an eyebrow and smirked, "Jason is my trash. You're keen to pick it up." Both their faces turned from pale to flushed. I casually turned and got in the car. As I rolled down the window, the trees appeared especially lush, as if shedding Annie was surprisingly easy. No more waiting for her to come home, doubting if she's with Jason. This broken marriage is finally a thing of the past. As the plane climbed, the clouds outside looked as vast as the new life I was about to start. Annie stepped into the home, Jason in tow, both without Justin. Her first time bringing Jason home, and he wasn't shy anymore. After a year of pursuit, getting his wish, she should be thrilled. But Annie only helped him to the couch and turned to leave. "Annie," Jason suddenly pulled her in for a kiss, his usual aloofness gone. "Let's be together." Annie froze, only one thought in mind. Push him away. Almost instinctively, she did just that. Jason was pushed back onto the sofa, stunned for a moment, then suddenly laughed. No need to follow the promise anymore. "Huh?" He got up and leaned in again, even though I said no touching before marriage. Shall we go to the bedroom? Annie pushed him away with a blank expression, offering an excuse that even she found laughable. The bedroom is full of Justin's stuff. It's not appropriate. A flash of dissatisfaction crossed Jason's eyes, but he forced a smile. Then, the guest room? Annie ultimately shook her head. It's not convenient anywhere in the house. Everywhere was a reminder of Justin. The slippers by the door, the mug on the coffee table, the wedding photo on the wall. How could she be intimate with another man here? I'll take you home. Annie took a step back, hardening her voice. I'm too tired today, not in the mood. Without waiting for Jason's reaction, she grabbed him and dragged him out the door, shoving him into the car with force. Once they reached his apartment building, she unceremoniously pulled him out of the car and sped off without a word. Jason stood there stunned for a while but quickly regained his composure. He knew Annie too well. This past year, he had her completely wrapped around his finger, ignoring her when he felt like it, getting close when it suited him. Now that she suddenly made a move, she was just playing hard to get, trying to turn the tables. Let's see how long you can keep this up. He smirked and walked home. In less than 3 hours, he expected her to come back pleading for forgiveness like a kitten. Meanwhile, in the car, Annie felt an inexplicable panic. Before, when Justin got mad, he'd cry and shout, throwing a tantrum. But this time was different. He just calmly laid the divorce papers in front of her, and after she turned him down, he left without a fuss. She remembered the last time they fought about divorce. Justin smashed up the whole place. As she drove, Annie's mind was all over the place. A sudden lapse in attention, and the car slammed into the roadside barrier. Bang! Her head hit the airbag hard, darkness washing over her vision. She stumbled out of the car, clutching the railing for support, blood trickling down her forehead. Justin, what the hell are you playing at? She gritted her teeth, pulling out her phone. But all she got was a cold phone turned off message. Her heart felt like something had been ripped out, and everything went black as she fell to the ground. When she woke up, it was already the next morning. Jason stood by her hospital bed with red, swollen eyes, crying his heart out. Annie, the company fired you. I got fired too. That bastard Justin. He made the announcement right after the gala last night, and it came out this morning. Annie shot up from the bed. Fired? What's the reason? Who gave the order? It was Justin. Jason sobbed, tears running down his face. He used your lifestyle issues as the excuse, and now the whole company thinks I'm your lover. I don't care. You need to take responsibility for this. Get a divorce from Justin, seize his shares, and kick him out of the company. Annie closed her eyes, her voice cold as ice. I won't divorce. Jason's face froze. Then what about me? Was I ever more than your side piece? She suddenly felt disgusted by his arrogant demeanor. Did he seriously think he could replace Justin? What else? She shot back with a cold laugh. Jason's face turned ghostly pale. Before he could speak, Annie coldly said, Jason, you can get out now. You're not even good enough to be a side piece, and I'm bored with you. Jason stood there, stunned for a few seconds, then grabbed a pillow and hurled it at Annie in a frenzy. Annie, I won't let you off. The guards, alerted by the noise, dragged him out. Annie's wounds burst open from the beating, blood soaking through the bandages on her head. Then her phone rang suddenly. Seeing an unfamiliar number, Annie quickly answered. Justin? On the other end, a serious voice replied, Hello, Annie. I'm Justin's attorney. The divorce litigation paperwork has been sent to your email, including the property division agreement. I won't divorce. Annie abruptly interrupted, her fingers unconsciously gripping the sheets tight. The lawyer continued in a businesslike tone. Justin has fully authorized us to handle this. Annie hung up immediately. She felt the world spinning, a weight like a giant stone crushing her chest, making it hard to breathe. Once again, darkness overtook her, and she passed out. After a week-long getaway, I headed straight to the company for the new general manager selection meeting. As I approached the entrance, there was Annie, leaning against the glass door with a cigarette. Surprised me, After all, she quit smoking 8 years ago. In the swirling smoke, her face looked especially weary. When she saw me, she quickly stubbed out the cigarette, instinctively waving away the smoke. That gesture caught me off guard for a moment. She still remembered my aversion to smoke. Her voice was hoarse beyond recognition. "Honey, I know I was wrong. Please just give me one more chance. Okay? I've ended things completely with Jason. This past year I made huge mistakes, but I've always loved you. Life is long. Let's not ruin everything over one mistake. Please?" I've heard this all too often. Every time she admits her fault, but she never truly changes. Forgiving her would be too easy, but who would heal the scars left on my heart? I looked at her calmly, suddenly realizing my heart no longer felt any stir for her. "You're right, life is still long. I still believe in love, but it will never be with you again." Her eyes instantly filled with tears. She reached out trembling, trying to grab me. "Justin, I'll give you the company. I'll give you everything. I just ask you not to leave." Her voice choked, trailing off. She suddenly collapsed onto the ground. "I'll change, I swear, until it satisfies you. Honey, please don't divorce me. I can't take it. The kneeling, the pledges, the tears, just like last time. Does she really think I might soften again?" When she saw me standing still, a hint of hope lit up in her eyes. She carefully said, "Honey, I'll really change this time." I suddenly laughed and shook my head slightly. "Don't call me that. The divorce papers are already with the court. The evidence is a whole 8 gigabytes. If you want to see it, ask the lawyer." The light in her eyes faded away bit by bit, and she finally bowed her head in despair. I didn't give her another look and strode into the company. Employees greeted me with smiles. "Morning, Chairman." I took a deep breath, and the bitterness that I'd been holding onto for the past year finally vanished. After the divorce, I took over the company's shares completely. I compensated Annie for her 5 years of work according to market salary standards. Surprisingly, she gave up all the shared assets, including the 28 properties. The only thing she insisted on keeping was the house we lived in together for 5 years. She said it was her last refuge, her home, and she wanted to keep it. Later, I heard from neighbors that she spent her days drinking, and you could hear her gut-wrenching sobs in the dead of night. Until one day, news broke out that she had been jailed. Jason not only lost his job, but also his affair with her went viral online. People even dug up that he'd been hitting on other guys' girlfriends since school. It was a habit for him. He resented Annie. One night, he broke into the house and found Annie drunk. During a fight, he fell from the 2nd floor and ended up paralyzed for life. The prison sent a message saying she wanted to see me, but I refused without hesitation. The only regret I have about this marriage is that I realized too late and gave her too many chances to hurt me. For the rest of our lives, we don't need to see each other anymore.